So I'm here in New York to take a look at one of the most historical documents on the planet. An original Declaration of Independence broadside. There's probably only 20 left in private hands, and I'm about to take a look at one right now. Jeremy?
Hey, Rick, yep.
I'm here for the broadside.
Come on in. There it is.
Definitely a wow moment.
A wow moment, right. This is an extremely rare July 1776 printing of the Declaration of Independence.
This is absolutely amazing. I mean, it's probably one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my career.
I've been in this market for years, and it's a thrill to handle something like this. So the condition of this copy is truly exceptional. This was sourced from a private collection. It has never been sold at public auction and is highly sought after.
So, yeah, this is just incredible. This was right after the 4th of July. I think it was John Dunlop was a printer in Philadelphia. He goes out and he basically takes a copy from Congress and writes it all out. Then goes back to the print shop, lays out his print, and starts printing these. They think he printed right around 200 of them, okay? And that was the original one. And then when other printers around the country got a hold of them, they also made copies. And this is the New Hampshire one, correct?
Correct.
That's the way the internet worked back then. I mean, you know, it was a little bit slower. So, I mean, like 10 days later, people in New Hampshire are finding out about this.
Right.
A week or two later, it's probably in the Carolinas. And eventually, everybody knew about it. I imagine your local tavern, when this was first penned up, there was a lot of people standing around going, damn. This is like putting your thumb to the most powerful country in the world at the time.
Yeah. And you know what's really cool about this one? You can actually see the pinholes here in the corners, which indicates that it was displayed publicly.
It'd probably hang for a week. Everyone would come by and look at it. Oh, you know, after a few weeks, a poster for the new band was going to be there. They were never, ever meant to be saved.
Yeah.
As far as documents go, it's the coolest thing I've ever seen in my career. So how much are you looking for this?
This was displayed at the National Constitution Center in Philadelphia. It's in exceptional condition. It's extremely scarce. $2 million.
Okay. Everything looks right on it, but I just want a document expert to look at it.
Sure.
I have one coming down, best document guy in New York. Once he says everything's the real deal, we'll go from there. Okay?
Fair.
Because a little bit of knowledge can always get you in trouble, and that's what I got.
I believe it's worth $2 million for this, but we'll leave it up to him and see what he thinks. I'll be curious to know where he lands.
So here we go.
Yeah, I am thrilled to see this. I'm Seth Kaller, and I'm a dealer and a museum collection builder and an expert in important historic documents.
Everything looks right to me, but like, I don't want to be 99% sure.
Right. I normally would have to take this out of the frame to authenticate it, but I've actually seen this exact copy before. Some of the things that we looked at when I first authenticated this was to compare this to all of the known copies of the same broadside. And part of what held it up, there are the nail holes from back then, which are not, you know, very consistent round nails like we have today. They're all handmade and different. And you can see on the handmade laid paper even the impression of individual letters. People think of the Declaration of Independence as the signed copy, but that was actually done a month later, really as a souvenir. The word had to get out by these printed documents. So there were a couple hundred printed on the night of July 4th to 5th. They're sent out by John Hancock, and the major cities where they arrive reprint them. And this copy actually was posted on a wall. So you can imagine 1776, somebody walking up to it and reading about this event that changed their lives.
All right, so I mean, it's 100% legit.
Absolutely.
All right. Brass tacks, what is it worth?
This particular one is a really beautiful copy. It's just a wonderful broadside, an important relic of history, and the world changed when the first people looked at this very document. I think this could go for $2 million at auction now.
That's what I want to hear, man. I will let you know what happens, man. I mean,
Yeah.
thanks for coming in. Okay, thanks.
Thanks. Good to see you. This is a fantastic, rare, earth-changing document. If Rick can purchase this, I think it would be great for him. I'd be a little jealous.
All right, so he said it was, it could be worth $2 million. Whenever you hear on the news something selling at an auction for a lot of money, that's the headline number. There is a ridiculous amount of fees. I would love to give you like $1.4 million.
It's a fair point you make about the fees. I mean, I know how it works. I would sell it to you for $1.5 million.
Okay. I'll meet you in the middle. 1.45, I think that's fair. I think we can both be happy with that.
I think we got a deal.
Oh my goodness, I own the Declaration of Independence.
Congratulations, congratulations.
I will get the money wired to you. I will pick it up from you tomorrow. I have a friend I want to show it to, so just keep it till tomorrow. And like I said, thanks again, Ben.
Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure. So, 1.45 million, no fees for the auctioneers, get the deal done today. I'm happy. Cue the fireworks.
Earlier, a woman brought in what appears to be a bunch of secret Pentagon reports from the 1970s. They make me nervous, so I asked my buddy Mark to come check them out. Mark, how's it going?
It's going well. How about yourself?
Oh, pretty good. We have reports from the Pentagon. We're just assuming there's stuff from Watergate, the Gulf of Tonkin, JFK, some UFO stuff. We're not sure exactly all that's in here, but...
Minor little things? Cool. I specialize in historical artifacts, militaria, aviation. After 35 years of running museums, there isn't a lot that I haven't seen. What concerns do you have about them?
Are they rare, and are they legal to own?
Okay, do you mind if I take a look at them?
Please do.
Okay.
Please do.
Okay, these are, in fact, daily reports. They were put out by the Federal Broadcast Information Service. What these were for was to allow people who were interested within the Pentagon to know what was being said in foreign markets. And the idea was we had somebody listening in to all the foreign radio and television and then transcribing everything they heard. What was being said on the political scene during the '72 election, for example, and that's George McGovern and Richard Nixon. How were they reporting that in, say, North Vietnam? That was important for planning. And it took thousands of people to translate this stuff, and they still do them today. What's interesting here is this is the PSYOPs copy, the Psychological Operations Division. This was the group that would try to get stories planted to help change opinion to be more positive towards the United States. And what's neat here is the person that was getting this was DOXA, the Deputy Director of Operations for Counterinsurgency and Special Affairs. He would have been the one that was in charge of, kind of taking this information and using it as part of the planning for what we were going to do in terms of psychological operations, probably in Vietnam, but in other places. The Vietnam War was fought as much on the television screens and on the radios and through PR and the media as it was on the battlefield. This is kind of neat because it's the original one and it was to PSYOPs. They're not common in the hard copy. And this is typical binding that you would have used in a Pentagon office at the time. Yeah, there are probably not many of these out there. The FBIS reports, though, were not classified reports. And because of that, it's openly available today. Yes, they're legal to own, so they're not secret.
Okay.
So you're okay on that. This was just public radio, public television. They would intercept all of that and translate this stuff. But, they're not the sort of thing that a lot of people would collect, that they would hold on to. It's been copied, it's in public collections, it's not rare. You can go to the library and look up and read everything on every one of the pages.
Thanks, Mark.
Not a problem.
You're the best.
I was completely relieved when the expert told me that it was illegal and I was allowed to have them, but very disappointed because he said they're not rare. So I take it you're not going to give me any money for these?
They're not rare, they're not collectible, and it's all public knowledge. I just wouldn't want to make an offer on them. I just don't see no money here at all. At least we found
okay.
out a little bit about them.
Yes, thank you very much.
Have a nice day.
Thank you.
I knew it was a long shot, but I was really hoping there would be something incredible in this collection. Hey, at least I don't have to worry about getting tossed in jail.
What do we got?
I have some political memorabilia, the Secret Service ID for J. Howard McGrath, Attorney General of the United States.
Okay.
Some letters signed to him by J. Edgar Hoover, Hubert Humphrey, his White House pass,
Oh, that's cool.
and half of a $10 bill signed to him.
You know, I never got the Secret Service because everybody knows they exist.
I came into the pawn shop today to try and sell some political memorabilia from the Attorney General of the United States, J. Howard McGrath. I really don't know what they're worth. Kind of had a number of 1,000 in my head, but we'll see how it goes.
Where did you get these?
I bought them from his grandson.
All right. McGrath was the Attorney General under Truman, late 40s, early 50s. I don't think McGrath was actually in the Secret Service, but being the Attorney General, I'm sure he could get any credentials he wanted.
He was the top law enforcement official.
J. Howard McGrath was a power player in Washington politics. He was the chairman of the Democratic National Committee when Truman ran for president. So Truman picking him to be Attorney General, cronyism, you think? These are pretty interesting here. And this right here is...
I believe that is half of a counterfeit $10 bill. They signed it to the Attorney General.
You sure it's counterfeit and just not a bad misprint?
I don't know.
Sometimes when the Bureau of Printing and Engraving make a bill, they screw up. Misprint bills can be worth a lot of money to collectors. But counterfeit money, that's a whole different story. It's a federal offense to use a counterfeit bill, so I'm assuming you can't own one. Yeah, it's counterfeit. All American currency, they throw silk rag in with the paper. So if you pick up a bill and you look at it closely, you'll see little red and blue lines all over it. If that's not there, it's not real. This doesn't have any of those.
All right.
I don't even think it's legal to own this thing.
Okay.
This is an amazing collection. You just never see stuff like this, but it scares the hell out of me. I mean, counterfeit money and Secret Service credentials, this is the kind of stuff that can get me in hot water. You got some neat stuff here, and these three things right here, I really want to get checked out. I'm not 100% positive, but I'm pretty sure it's a felony to own this thing.
Yeah, the last thing I need is the feds coming through the door of this place.
Let me go make a phone call. I'll be
All right.
right back.
Thanks.
I'm really hoping it's legal to keep this stuff because it's awesome. If it checks out, I'll definitely make an offer.
What do we have today?
Well, this is a counterfeit bill, so...
Counterfeit?
Yeah.
I'm the administrator of the Clark County Museum System, and after 35 years in the museum field, there's not much I haven't seen at some point or another. J. Howard McGrath, interesting. You know who he was?
Attorney General of the United States.
Well, he was that too. He was three-term governor of Rhode Island. He was a senator as well.
Oh, okay.
McGrath was Attorney General from 49 to 52. He presided over a case that got rid of segregation in dining cars on railroads. It was a fairly active time. Now, let me take a look here. Oh, yes. This is his Secret Service credential. The embossing, the seal is right on this. So this is all right. Normally, if you see one, it's been marked retired. So this is quite unusual. Secret Service passes like this, normally they either have a stripe across them or they're marked retired. So it's an interesting one because it's all completely intact.
How collectible is this guy, and is any of this stuff legal to own?
Having a White House pass, they are not real common. They are collected. That, on the other hand, you don't want. A counterfeit bill is not legal to own. So, obviously, these guys were probably involved in whatever case this came out of and gave it to him as a souvenir. This is the sort of thing that you don't want to own. In 1950, things were a little looser, and when you're the Attorney General of the United States, some of the laws aren't enforced quite as strongly.
Can we shred it?
No, Best thing to do is turn that in to the Secret Service.
Okay.
Thanks for coming in, Mark.
Not a problem.
You're the best.
Appreciate it.
All righty.
What do you want to do with these?
I'd like to sell them.
How much you want for them?
I'd like $1,000.
Not going to happen. We got Howard McGrath. No one knows who he was.
This one's not stamped retired. You heard him say it was rare.
This is not exactly a badge, so it's going to be a little bit harder to sell. It's sort of on the fringe of badge collecting.
How about 800?
4.
Yeah, I mean, I need to get 5.
Yeah, I'll give you $500.
Good deal.
All right, you want to write them up?
Yeah, sure.
Come with me, man.
These Secret Service credentials are amazing. Even though McGrath is not exactly a household name, there's collectors out there who love stuff like this. Earlier, a guy brought in a file with the original plans from the D-Day invasion. They're unbelievable, but I have to find out when they were made, before or after the battle. So I invited my buddy Mark down to take a look.
Hey, Mark, how's it going?
Hey, Mark. Okay, so what do you have today?
I got something really cool. I have a post-battle synopsis of Operation Neptune, and this right here is actual battle plans before the battle.
Really?
Yeah.
Rick and the guys normally call me down when they have something militaria, historic. You know, I don't speak to the value of it, but I can give them some understanding of what its value is historically. So, Rick, what are your concerns on these?
This has a lot of maps and things like that in it, and I'm wondering if that is pre-battle or post-battle.
Operation Neptune was the Allied airdrop into France as part of Operation Overlord, which was the invasion of Normandy. Now, this was the battle that changed World War II and led to the ultimate destruction of Germany. All of World War II, we started using airborne troops. This was something new. We hadn't done that before. Taking guys, dropping them behind the enemy lines, being able to disrupt what was going on, rather than just going in through the front door. And the idea was we were going to concentrate all these people in a couple of specific areas. They would all go in together. In fact, what happened is people dropped all over the place. It wasn't the plan, but what ended up happening was the Germans didn't know where the heck we were. And all of a sudden, they were finding people all over the place. So they thought there was a lot more men behind the lines, so they kept more of their troops away from Normandy, which helped the invasion on the coast. So it actually worked out. Just glancing at this, I can tell you this is post-battle. You can tell that just from the cover. You're not going to know at the beginning of the battle what the end date is.
Yeah.
These maps would take you all the way through the battle, where people landed, what they did, where they went, find out what went right, what went wrong. When you want to know exactly what happened at the time, this would be the primary historical document to start from. During the war, a lot of documents are produced, top secret documents, restricted documents. For somebody to have been in the position to get these and bring them home and survive all this time, it was wonderful to see these. These were amazing documents. But you said you also have pre-battle?
I'm assuming they are.
Okay. This is nice. This is where they were supposed to be, where they were supposed to come together. And what do we have here? Top secret. Oh, this is great. This is really spectacular. April of '44. These are pre-battle. This is where you're going to be landing, who is going to be where, which division is going to be where. You know, these are all the places that they're supposed to land. This is how it was supposed to work. You will take Saint-Mary-Glaise. You will seize and destroy crossings on the Douve River. This is amazing. The documents from before the battle are much scarcer because these were the documents that if they got into German hands before the battle actually happened, they would know exactly what we were planning on doing. All of this, related as it is to Operation Neptune, to one of the largest airborne operations in the history of warfare, this is really quite an impressive little group of material.
Okay, so they're pretty damn rare.
Yes. These kinds of documents are going to be in places like the National Archives because it's top secret. You weren't supposed to bring this stuff home. Unfortunately, they're archival pieces rather than display pieces. These are quick production pieces from World War II. This just doesn't hold up. It is not color fast. If you get any light on it, these are the sorts of things, you put this in a frame and put it up on the wall, it's gone. These you need to just put away. They need to be in a dark, acid-free container and kept in a stable environment.
All right, you're the best. I got all the info, man.
Thank you.
All right, when I first saw these things, I was thinking big dollars because we have top secret battle plans for the invasion of Normandy. Now that I find out that I can't frame them and hang them on a wall, that's going to be a major problem.
Collectors of military stuff, they want to hang them on the wall. They want to talk about them. They want to show their friends.
I mean, they're important pieces of history, and they should be treated as such. Unfortunately for me, I can't take them if I can't sell them. I mean, I'm a business here. I'm not a museum.
Okay, absolutely.
Thanks for bringing them in.
All right.
Hey, thank you very much, sir.
There's no question these are great pieces of history, but I kind of dodged a bullet. In half a year, I would have had really expensive blank pieces of paper hanging on my wall.